All right. Thank you everyone for joining today. We're really excited to have Nielsen with us again. The topic of today's webinar is pricing and promotion optimization. It's really exciting to have them here to talk about that. We've got a few folks today from Nielsen, Lindsay, Amy, and Jackie. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to them in a second, but just a few orders of business to keep things rolling smoothly. As we go through the presentation, if you have questions, please try to use the Q&A feature in the webinar to ask those questions. That'll help us kind of organize our ability to respond to those. You can also use the chat to chat the hosts and panelists directly, but it's just a little bit easier to process questions as they come in through the Q&A feature. If you have to leave at any point and don't get to see the rest of the webinar or need to jump to another call, the recording will be sent out. We'll be sending an email out with the recording link, and that will be on our Startup CPG Vimeo page as well. With that, I will kick things over to Jackie to lead things off. Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you, Peter. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. As Peter mentioned, I'm Jackie Joseph. I'm part of our advanced analytics consulting team here at Nielsen. So I'm excited to talk to you today about pricing and promotion optimization and how we're helping our clients kind of navigate the headwinds in this area. So Lindsay, Amy, and I are here today to talk about price elasticity, what it is, why it's important, especially with the trends that we're seeing today, kind of out in the consumer marketplace, and how we here at Nielsen IQ can help your organization navigate pricing action for your business this year. I'm going to start by kind of going through some of the trends and why this is such an important topic to consumers today. And then as a result, why it's so important to CPG companies today. And then talk a little bit about, how we approach our price elasticity work, what that can mean for your business. And then I'll hand it off to Amy and Lindsay to take you through one of our solutions that's currently, that is being used by our clients to help them address these questions. Okay, let's see. Okay, so first and foremost, why is this so important, right? We know, and if you pay attention to the news at all, that there is a lot of pressure on consumers' wallets these days, right? This is not news. We know that there are rising grocery costs. There's increased bills and home costs. We certainly saw a fair amount of supply restrictions over the past few years. And then I think almost daily in the news, we see something about rising interest rates and just the cost of housing overall, right? So a lot of pressure on consumers' wallets. We also call out fuel costs, and while fuel costs are sort of trending downward now, finally, all of these things together result in changing consumer behavior, right? And as a result, pricing sensitivities. And so what we're finding in our research is that while the US economy is not technically in a recession, consumers increasingly feel like we are and behave like we're in one, right? So the majority of the US feels constrained by this perception that we're in a recession, right? So 59% of consumers think that they're currently living in a recession, right? 49% expect to be in a recession for the next 12 or so months. And only a third of shoppers have enough food, or a third of shoppers only have enough money for food, shelter, and basics, right? So there are some pretty substantial kind of realities that we're dealing with and that we're seeing within our research. And so, what this means for you as a CPG company is, your retail partners are thinking about how do we adjust our business to kind of deal with these trends that are taking place, right? And so there are 7 kind of key ways that we're seeing our retail partners respond to both inflation and disruption, right? They're continuing to take price, right? But I think as we've entered into 2023, we're also seeing a return to promotions, right? So, for a while coming out of COVID, it was just getting items on shelf, but now that some of those things have sort of normalized, we're seeing really a return to heavy promotions, and I think fueling that as well as some of those consumer sensitivities that we're seeing as well. Retailers are fine-tuning their pricing strategies to maintain a competitive position in the channel more broadly. And I think, another kind of key thing that we see when consumers feel like they're in a recession is two things. One, they will change their shopping behaviors, right? They'll move to more private label. They'll, change pack size. They'll sort of bulk up, right? And what shoppers will also do is they will start to go to more of your, the retailers that sort of service that market, right? So I think that we see kind of a lot of these trends taking place, and retailers as a result are prioritizing private label within that. And then I think, just in general, trying to target and attract new audiences that do have some spending power is attractive as well. So all of these are sort of headwinds facing our clients. These are all things that we're really trying to help our clients sort of solve for and understand how to kind of work within. And so the work that we provide and kind of the support that we here at NIQ support our clients with is really trying to understand your own elasticities, right? So what are the elasticities of my products? How can that help formulate a pricing strategy both on everyday and promoted prices, right? And what can all of this mean to my business? How do we use these insights to drive my business forward and make smart pricing decisions? So I thought before we kind of get into the tool and show you a little bit about how we do this, I thought it would be really helpful to take a minute and just sort of talk about, what is a price elasticity? And I think this is a pretty commonly used term, but really kind of peeling it back and kind of level setting here. So when we talk about a price elasticity, really the short explanation is that price elasticity tells us the relationship between the price of a product and the corresponding volume sold, right? We can break price elasticities into either regular price elasticity, right? So how much will volume fall off if I change the everyday price of my products? And also promoted price elasticity. How much volume will I potentially gain if I introduce a short-term price decrease, right? Price elasticities are represented by negative numbers that show the inverse relationship between price and volume, because as price goes up, volume comes down, right? So what this can mean for your business is there are a wide range of elasticities that you might uncover for your specific products and for your specific brands. So Amy and Lindsay are going to show you exactly how we get to your price elasticities here in just a minute. But I wanted to give you a bit of a grounding in terms of how to interpret that. So in this slide, I'm going to kind of actually start with the pro tip at the bottom, right? So looking at this slide, you want to think of this as if you have an elasticity of negative 0.75, that means that if you were to take price up by 10% on a given item at a given retailer, volume would decline by 7.5%, assuming no competitors followed, right? So that's how you interpret these coefficients. We know that some products are very inelastic or have low elasticity, and some products are very elastic, right? Very high elasticity. A low elasticity is going to be a coefficient somewhere in the range of 0 to -1. That's going to tell you have really strong pricing power, right? You can move your price up without the fear of a substantial drop off in volume. The call out there, of course, is be careful not to price too opportunistically, but you do have pricing power within your category. On the opposite end, right, the other extreme, if we think of a very high elasticity or a very elastic product, this could be something like, think of sugar or flour or something that, price goes up, folks are not going to be too brand loyal. There's going to be a substantial volume loss if price goes, up by any degree. So having an understanding of what these numbers are for your book of business is, very important, and understanding how your pricing strategy sort of interplays with the category as a whole is really important. So what we can kind of help you understand is, how do I create an effective channel strategy, right? We know that price elasticities vary by retailer, by market that they're in. So your products may have a different elasticity, in the Northeast compared to the Southwest. These are all things that we can kind of help you understand where you play and what your channel and region strategy should be. How does my pricing strategy change by retailer? So there are certainly retailers that execute more of an everyday low price strategy versus, more heavy on promotions, all of those types of things. And then what we can also help you with is, certainly the everyday pricing perspective, but then from a promotional strategy perspective, which promotion forms are most effective, right, for your specific products? What is the right depth and frequency to run promotions? What are my weeks to win for maximum promotion effectiveness? And ultimately, at the end of the day, we know that trade is a massive component of doing business, right? It's one of the largest budget items that our clients have. And so you really want to make sure that the money you're investing in trade is really effective, right? And these are all things that we can kind of help you with. So hopefully that's helpful in terms of kind of laying some groundwork of why this is so important. There's a lot more we can say on the topic. Please reach out to us. We'd be very happy to kind of go into this in a lot more detail. But just know if you're having these questions within your organization, you are not alone. Everyone is dealing with this, and we certainly can help. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I think pass it over to Amy.
Yep, let me share my screen. Thanks, Jackie. So if you are interested in learning more about this and you're looking for a tool to help you unlock information so you can delve a little bit deeper into price and promotion, we have a solution here for you at 𝐁𝐈Q. It's called 𝐕𝐢𝐲. Some of you may be familiar with this platform from other startup CPG webinars, but we just wanted to speak to you about this today to help you understand some of the capabilities that we have within 𝐕𝐢𝐲 that could meet the needs of your business. So first and foremost, just to level set what 𝐕𝐢𝐲 is. So 𝐕𝐢𝐲 is our industry-leading data platform that feeds our retail measurement data through the platform. So it's the same data that the P&Gs and the Cokes and the Tysons of the world use, but within a platform that was built exclusively for emerging businesses. So it's easy to use at affordable price, and we have a great support system here with our 𝐁𝐈Q team who wants you to have access to this data. So some of the functions that we'll go through here with you today are free. So within 𝐕𝐢𝐲, we give all subscribers 3 free reports. And then some of the reports that we'll look at today are enhanced. And we'll let you see just some of the varying capabilities that we have within the platform. So where I'll start here today is within the My Alert section. So if you're able to create a free account with us within 𝐕𝐢𝐲, we allow for 1 free alert. And what an alert is, it's a weekly email that we send directly to your inbox every Tuesday with information on the category, on your brand, on distribution. We also have a specific pricing alert. So you can subscribe to a customized report or alert rather, letting you know for your category how your price is performing within retail. We also let you know how the category pricing is performing. So what's the average price? What's the average everyday price or the non-promo price? What's the average promoted price? And then volume sold on promotion. We also give you some competitive intel into brands. So of your competitive brands within your category, who's seen the biggest increase in price and who's seen the biggest decrease. We also let you know of the highest selling brands within your category. What is that average price? What is that everyday low price? And then what's their promotion price? So again, this is a great resource and we would definitely encourage all of you to go in and leverage this. It's like the New York Times getting sent to your inbox every Tuesday. And we'd be happy to help, get this set up for you guys.
Yeah, Amy, quick question. So just to be totally clear, right? We have, new brands that sign up for 𝐕𝐢𝐲 can get a couple of free reports through Startup CPG, but this is actually something they can get every single week without touching those free credits, right? This is something totally on top of that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you for being clear. Set it and forget it and get it in your email every Tuesday.
Yeah. So I just want, as a brand, I want to just color this a little bit because I look at these every single week for my category. It's kind of my, every week I will pull that up and check and just kind of see what's going on. And, highly recommend having that set up for your brand, whether or not you're using the rest of the features for 𝐕𝐢𝐲. It's like the most basic thing you can kind of do to stay on top of what's happening in the category. And you'll be surprised at what questions you end up asking as a result of the data that you see in there. So I'm also just, while we're doing this, drop a link in the chat. I think the 𝐕𝐢𝐲 team can help you guys get these set up. And so they will meet with all the brands that sign up through this link one-on-one to answer these questions and others. So I'm going to drop a link in here to everyone. If you're interested in getting those set up and asking any of the other questions that you want to have that are more specific to your brand, that's a great way to do it. So Amy, I'll tee it back to you, but that's something that I've gotten a ton of value out of. So I want to make sure that the brands that are listening in on the call take note of that.
That's great. Thanks, Peter. And if you're able to create that free account, that will signal to a 𝐂𝐿𝐴 account representative that you've created an account, and we'll just do a passive reach out to make sure you're being taken care of within the platform and see if you have any questions. In addition to that, we'll help make sure that you get the complimentary reports and alerts set up. But we also like to dive in and help understand your business a little bit further. And we can also pull up some, complimentary, more enhanced reports with you live there, and talk about your business and your business goals a little bit deeper. So we'd absolutely be happy to schedule those follow-ups with anybody on this call. So after the alerts, we have this My Report section within 𝐕𝐲𝐬. And as Peter mentioned, we have 3 free reports available to all Startup CPG members on this call. We'll take a look at one free report that you have available, and then we'll take a look at an enhanced report. But within My Reports, just so you have an understanding, we have over 35 different syndicated reports. So you can pull a report custom to your business on pricing, promotion, distribution. We have basic item and brand ranking reports, and we also have panel data in here as well. And Lindsay's going to dive into some of our advanced analytics reports related to pricing and promotion. So we'll take a look and double click into some of those here in a minute. But one of the free reports that I want to show, oh, Peter, I can't hit it because the bar is at the top. What do I do?
Oh, you should be able to, if you mouse over it, you can hit hide and it should help.
Hide video. No, that's not it. Okay, got it. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
So here's one of the free reports that we have available within 𝐕𝐲𝐬. So Lindsay and we are showing a use case example. So we're looking at private label frozen pizza across the total grocery channel. But you can think about, and we want you to think about, how you can use this data specific to your business. So while this is total grocery channel, what's unique about 𝐕𝐲𝐬 is we give you access to all of our 𝐁𝐿ACE retail cooperators. So Albertsons, Publix, Whole Foods, Ahold, as well as all of our channel information. So please think about how you could select a category in a retailer relevant to your business, and perhaps use this waterfall chart to get a better understanding of your performance or a competitive brand's performance. And so with this, and what we think about with the business drivers waterfall view is, this is our CEO view of how your brand is performing within the given channel that you selected. So what are the levers that you're pulling from your price, promotion, distribution, assortment strategy that are driving or decreasing sales year over year? So what you can see here within the frozen pizza category, I down selected into thin crust pepperoni, my favorite. You can see here that sales are up 12% compared to 1 year ago. Price is also up 5%. Sales on promotion are up 11%, and we've seen a decrease in distribution here. So then when we get into the waterfall chart, what we can see is just the pluses and minuses to the levers of our organization and our business. So you can see here in bright red, this is decrease in sales due to decreases in distribution compared to a year ago. What I found interesting, though, is what's offsetting the decreases to distribution for private label pepperoni pizza is changes in pricing. So you can see here that change due to average price and change due to everyday low price or non-promo price is offsetting the distribution changes, which leaves room for us to promote on top, and also have some gains due to change in category trend. So you can see here that we have 3 positive pricing levers in this use case specifically that have ultimately driven year-over-year sales increases. In addition to that, so we can double click a little bit further and look at some of these driver details. So you can see here we have price, what the average price is for this focus product, percent on promotion, how does that compare to a year ago, and then ultimately what dollar sales is that driving. And then we also give you account level information. So we gave you the waterfall aggregate up above in the chart. So what are the specific retailers that are driving those incremental or decreasing changes year over year? And so you can see here that Walmart had a pretty big increase in their price compared to a year ago. And that accounted for 4.5 million price impact to dollar sales. You can also see some information here around promotion efficiency, discount percentage, just other competitive information if that was something you were interested in drilling into on the promotion side of the business that's ultimately leading to that, promotion driver up there. So again, definitely go and check that out. Another report that we want to look at now, and now we're getting into more of the enhanced reports that we have available within 𝐕𝐲𝑆𝑒r, is our standard item rank report. So you saw your business drivers waterfall, you saw that price has been driving sales, and now you're starting to think, okay, within the category, I'm interested in drilling into item level pricing information. And so one of the reports that, we could work with you to run and, run in a follow-up session with any of you custom to your business is an item ranking report. And within this item ranking report, you're able to, again, select the data context, the time periods, focus products, all of those things. And now we're looking at frozen thin crust pizza, almost a $200 million in sales, up 10% compared to a year ago. The average price for the category is up 14%. And then you can drill in here and see item by item, the dollar sales, the unit sales, as well as the average price and any price changes compared to a year ago, and start to look at some of your competitive items. So you're not looking at price within a vacuum, and you're able to look at, the holistic price of the category in the retailer or in the channel that you're interested in. One call out that I just want to make as we're looking at this, we always recommend that when you're looking at pricing, you look at it from an item by item level, and you're not looking or comparing at the brand level. And we say this because it's important to look at items apples to apples. So you don't want to look at, a single serve or an individual pizza and compare that to a multi-serve pizza, or you don't want to look at a 1-pack of pizza and compare that to the price of the 3-pack of pizza. So as you're exporting and analyzing this information, just make sure that you're looking at those equivalized units of sale, and then you're using price to back in and make your analysis from there. The last thing that I want to show you within 𝐕𝐲𝑆𝑒r is this data on demand function. For those of you who have had access in previous roles to syndicated data, maybe you worked at a big CPG company, you will love data on demand. This is where you're able to create custom reports. So you are actually setting your focus product, you're selecting all of the various markets that you want to, look at point of sale data. You're selecting multiple time periods, so latest 52, latest 26, latest 13 weeks. And then you're able to select the facts that you want to take a look at. And I've had clients who have had a lot of success in running promotion condition specific fact reports. So you're able to run all of the items within, your relevant category and run all of the various promotion conditions that we track within Nielsen IQ. So think of price reductions, displays, features, base price, so no promo, average price. You can pull in any of these and you can pull the data, export it into Excel, throw a quick line graph on top of it and just watch those trends appear in front of you. And again, this just helps you get a great landscape of what's going on within the space that you play. And I know that, we're going through and covering a lot, and, we talked about elasticities before. Another great resource that I just want to call out, and again, this is included within your 𝐕𝐲𝑆𝑒r subscription, is this resource library. And this is available to anybody if you're interested in, fact definitions. We have a glossary that just goes through, what are all of these definitions? What does this mean? Or I'm stuck on this specific part of 𝐕𝐲𝑆𝑒r and I need a little bit of help. Again, this platform is built specifically for emerging brands. So we want to set you up for success. So all of the resources that you need are here. In addition, we'd love to get you partnered with somebody on our team to have that custom conversation with you. And so with that, Lindsay, I'm going to pass it over to you to get into some of the the fun stuff, the advanced analytics.
Awesome. Thanks, Amy. Awesome. Well, thank you, Amy and Jackie. So this is taking everything a little bit, one step further. And the way that I like to think about the pricing and promotion smart action reports is this is your roadmap. As you think about going into these retailer conversations, it's going to arm you with a strategy around everyday pricing and promotion that you may not have had otherwise. So back to the elasticity talk from the beginning, those all exist within the platform already. So we're modeling this behind the scenes for every UPC scanning across the register and creating these coefficients that you can be using to really understand how sensitive consumers are to your price changes. Why is this important? I feel like everyone's being squeezed either internally or with the retailer saying, hey, you have to take price up. Instead of just kind of having this blanket approach of we'll do it across the whole portfolio and like cross our fingers, see what happens, we can really understand the volume impact prior to doing that and create strategy around what promoted product groupings we would do that with first, right? So this is still just going along with this whole pizza, frozen whole pizza private label data context, but imagine yourself, like Amy said, just in this report, you're getting ready for a Whole Foods category review, they're asking you to raise price, and you're just not really sure. So this is going to give you some strategy. At the top here, it's going to give you your focus brand average price. This is going to give you, not taking price pack into consideration, a benchmark against that category average. It'll flag any number of accounts where your brand is overpriced and any number of UPCs in the top 20 percentile. Again, you can run this on any retailer. So you think your price percentile, maybe you have an average in mind, or you think you're premium priced. That might be true maybe in Walmart, right? But if you run this on Whole Foods, you could have a completely different price percentile. You might be in the 50, 60%, 100% being the most premium priced brand. Over here, the price ladder by price condition, this is going to help you understand your consumer's perception of your brand in terms of pricing. So it'll populate the top 10 PPGs down below, or those promoted product groupings, anything that's line priced and promoted together. And what it's going to show you here is that the top of the blue bar here is that everyday pricing at $6.87 for this 1-pack 31 ounce. The bottom is $6.02. So that's what they're promoting at. You see where that average dot that lands, that dot is, the average price is kind of hovering at the top. And what that means is the consumer's perception of that particular product grouping is that they're not sitting around waiting for a promotional change. They're likely just expecting to pay full price. If it were towards the bottom, the consumer's perception is that, they are going to be on promotion and I'm probably going to not have to pay full price. And down below, it's going to break out these metrics. And this is kind of where the fun things come in terms of the elasticity. So you're going to get access to the total dollar sales, average price, or whole portfolio all in one place, everyday price and promoted price, but then you're going to get these elasticity coefficients. We're going to give you a range of low, moderate, or high. And what this is going to tell you is if your consumers are moderately sensitive to a price change, you're kind of in the middle range there. But for this one, this PPG is flagging as very high. So that means that promoted product grouping is highly elastic, highly sensitive to a price change. So as I think about talking to that retailer, I could say, hey, I know you want me to raise price, but I don't really want to start with this product grouping. We don't want to just take this blanket approach. We want to search for the low or the moderate because we know that our volume impact will be minimal. And then again, for your category, this is helpful as well. It'll flag any price thresholds at the $99.49 that exist within the model. For instance, right here, this one's flagging at $4.49. And the impact to that threshold is 3.7. So this is going to give you that entire strategy in action: maintain low price position in the category, or consider increasing price to improve margin. We're just giving you that roadmap, and you can come into these conversations armed with a strategy instead of just leaning on the retailer for that. And on the other flip side, the promotional smart action report, this is going to tell you kind of what Jackie spoke to earlier, the depth of discount, the weeks to promote, what are the best weeks to win, what is the percent and dollar range that I should be promoting within to make those dollars most efficient. We're seeing in the emerging brand space, and this has been going on for a long time. I was previously a founder of a CPG company, and I'm guilty of this, but it was a copy and paste model. So it was like, hey, I did this with Whole Foods last year. promoted 12 weeks out of the year, 20%, let's see what happens. But this would have given me such incredible strategy because I would have been able to come in here, run it at any retailer and really say, hey, actually, I know what to do here. I feel like I'm in the driver's seat. I don't have to rely on you to completely give me what I should be doing. So it's going to give you your focus brand sales on promotion, that percent range versus that category average. Are you promoting too often? Are you promoting not enough? Based on that category average. And then the percent of promotions in that recommended discount range, they're promoting 35% within that range. And then the percent of promotions on effective weeks. So we're actually able to look at, what the foot traffic in stores are, and that varies pretty greatly by retailer. And then we can align our promotional calendar to adjust to where foot traffic is high. This is a decomposition here of the percent of sales on discount, feature, display, and feature and display. So let's say that you're pretty heavily investing in displays and secondary merchandising options in stores. If you're coming in here and you run this report and you see that you've only gotten 3% of your sales from that, you might want to adjust that approach, right? So it either can confirm or deny what you think you know internally. We're looking at this point of sale data. Anything that's scanning across register is what's being captured here. And then we're also able to, oh yeah, go ahead, Peter.
Can I pause for a second and ask a quick question about the, if you scroll up just a little bit, the promotions on effective weeks. Now, is this able to actually spit out an understanding of where across the calendar year, like which weeks are the right weeks for us to be promoting?
Yes. Yep. Thank you. This wasn't a planted question, but it's perfect.
I might be jumping the gun, but that's very, very top of mind for me personally right now. So
yeah, it is. Thanks for asking that. So we'll jump down to that because this is the latest 52 weeks down below. And this graph is telling you exactly that, Peter. So the 3 green bars are what Nielsen IQ would deem the best 3 effective weeks to promote. Of course, you can go across this line and see when the best weeks are if you'd want to do additional promotional activity. But this kind of light blue line is the promotional baseline category index synonymous with foot traffic in stores. This line isn't that exciting because it's that aggregate market view. But as you think about a singular retailer and how that would go up and down, it changes, right? So we can look and see where the peaks are in the valleys. This is a big peak here, so we flagged that week to promote. And then it looks like for this particular brand or private label, they're coming off of promotions when they should be on. So it's very easy to see as that kind of overlays within those 2 lines on the graph. We can quickly see like, wow, we're missing the mark here. Maybe we should promote a bit deeper here. But when you look at this, you can get very surgical with each retailer. That's the other people resources are very thin in the emerging brand space, right? So we don't have time to figure this out by account, but this is the answer that it would spit this out for you, right? So I think that's the value there. But yeah, great question.
This is great. Yeah.
Awesome. And then this is that recommended range I was telling you about. So the gray bar is that recommended discount range and percentage. You can quickly see by these PPGs down below, there's a few that are falling within the range. That's great. This one is 15%. So they're essentially promoting too deeply. We would recommend you get between the 1% and 8% range to make those dollars most efficient. So just when you see that outlier, it's something that's a very easy fix as you think about a category review conversation. And then down below here, we've got all of these promoted product groupings again with the average weekly base price, non-promo price. So looking at your entire portfolio kind of in one place here, looking at what weeks you're getting on promotion for support. And then again, these everyday promoted elasticities. So these coefficients are different than every day because you think about how sensitive consumers are to a promotional price change might be different than taking price permanently. And so for these all flagging very low, if this particular brand, which it did look like they were promoting quite a few times throughout the year, maybe they pull back on that lever, right? Because their consumers aren't sensitive to the promotional price change anyways. They're likely wasting money. Maybe they choose those 3 weeks throughout the year. They go a bit deeper with promotions there, but then they don't do the rest of the year because their consumers are willing to pay full price anyways. And then we'll also flag the $49.99 for the promoted price threshold, what the impact of that threshold will be. Again, what's the best in-store tactic? What is the actual recommended action? Increase depth of discount to be in the optimal range, maintain depth of discount, and then percent dollar range here. So I just love how this is the total roadmap. You could print this off, memorize this, and probably blow a buyer just completely away with your knowledge because it's pretty in-depth in the emerging brand space. So any questions?
I also imagine this would be a really effective tool to help a conversation with a buyer where oftentimes buyers, at least in my experience as a brand, will come to you asking for certain standard programming. Hey, I want you to be at 20% this many
Totally.
times, this many weeks. I need, 4-week promotions at 20% off or something like that. This
Right.
gives you a little bit more ammo to go back and say, we certainly can meet you there, but it's not really the best thing for the brand. It's not where the dollars are going to work hardest. What if we did this plan instead that's backed up by this data and spent the same amount of money, but in a more
Right.
effective way? And that's constantly, any of the conversations that I'm always having with retailers, it's really about how do I drive the efficiency of every dollar I'm spending? So this really does give me the ammo I need to have that conversation, but also the confidence that I'm making the right decisions in that way, which is compelling.
Yeah, 100%. And I think retailers, not maybe any fault of their own, but they're not digging into your business, right? They're like, oh, another buyer meeting, or another manufacturer meeting. We'll just do what we did last year. It seems to work for me. Like, they're not the ones spending money, right? So I do think, to your point, being able to come with strategy would be super helpful for your bottom line. So, and then one more thing here that I wanted to share. This is really exciting, and it's a secret. So the secret's going to be out. You guys are the first ones to know this, but in Q3, we're adding another module to this platform, and it's going to be a simulation tool. So I'm so excited about this because it is going to allow for you to kind of take the risk out of real life scenarios. So instead of having to take price up $1 and then execute on the whole portfolio and wait a year and see what happens, you can run these scenarios in real time and see what happens to your elasticities, right? So for this, for instance, you would put in your current retail and then what up or down, what the new one would be, the percent change, and run that scenario. And then it will populate if you're the only one to take price, if the whole portfolio is taking price together, and if the competitors follow or don't follow, it's going to show you what the current volume is, the new volume, and then that percent change. So again, just kind of taking action prior to real life scenarios and saying, okay, we know exactly what our volume loss or gain is going to be for everyday promotional changes and then promotional. We're also going to be able to do this for promotions, where you can populate what your current MSRP is, go to, whatever promotion you're running, and then kind of play around with, is it just a TPR? Is it display feature? Any in-store kind of tactics that are going on there, and then run that scenario and see what the percent lift is, both unit lift and dollar lift. But I think this is so helpful because I feel like a lot of emerging brands are going blind, right? To your point, Peter, just like not really knowing and hoping, we just do what we did last year. This is going to give you, kind of arm you with what you need to take the smart action reports one step further and running all of those simulations. And then you're able to see like, okay, we got incredible lift from this. We need to do this again next year, and then just only go with this winning approach. So really excited about that.
Quick question on that, if you want to just back up real quick. So this may be a monster question, but can you talk a little bit about, or maybe explain a little bit of how some of those analyses are kind of running, like what's happening in the background? I know, I'm sure it's endless amounts of formulas that are actually accomplishing that, but is it based on predominantly historical information that gets fed through a lot of these formulas, essentially?
It is, exactly. So we're looking at all the price changes in the background over the last year and beyond, and then seeing what the unit and dollar change is when those price changes take place. And so that's what's fueling this. So that's what would be projected forward with these simulations. Jackie, you probably know more. So is there anything to add there?
No, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
So within 𝐕𝐲𝐢, as Amy sort of framed it up, right? 𝐕𝐲𝐢 is our tool that's really here to democratize data, right? So what we've built into the 𝐕𝐲𝐢 platform are some of these more advanced analytics reports and modules. And now Lindsay's showing us a sneak peek about the item simulator. But the data fueling these specific reports are our same models that we're using in our custom studies, right? So we're kind of lending those models to 𝐕𝐲𝐢. And the way we create that data is we use item store week level data, right? So we run each of those items. We've got, thousands and thousands and thousands of retailers sharing data with us. Again, at that item store week level, that we can kind of run all these run the analysis on. And what that enables us to do is have just, millions of observation points to understand when price went up, what happened to the corresponding volume. And so that all that level of data and granularity really helps us fuel these reports and give you a lot of confidence in understanding what will happen if I change price.
Awesome. And then one other question that we have here, and I'm going to try to distill this question, I think, a little bit. But is there any insight available with the tool around what the right frequency of running promotions is? i.e., we saw in the tool that it can kind of identify what the right weeks are. But is there any rhyme or reason to understanding, let's say, for example, the first 12 weeks of the year are really the peak period for my brand? Should I just be running promotions in those 12 weeks back to back, or is there some rhyme or reason to some sort of diminishing returns over time? That again may be a bit of a monster question, but just kind of curious around promo frequency and anything the tool can kind of tell us around that.
Yeah, so the promo smart action reports tell you a ton of information. So you can look at it at an individual PPG level. Lizz, I don't know if you're planning to pull your screen back up, but what it will tell you is, based on the elasticities that we see from a promotional standpoint, what are the right types of promotions to run? What are those weeks to win? What is the correct depth of discount? And if you're overextending yourself, right, like you might be promoting more than you need to. I'm not exactly sure if it tells you the frequency. Lindsay, maybe you can help me with that, but it does give a lot of detail and guidance as to what we'd recommend you do.
Yeah, in terms of frequency, can you guys hear me? I lost you for
Yeah.
a minute. Okay.
Yeah,
Just the best weeks to win is all that we have within there.
Okay.
But again, super helpful to look at that full view over the latest 52 weeks and what to do going forward.
Awesome.
Great, perfect. So the last thing we want to kind of close out with is Amy and I are going to be at Expo. So if any of you guys are going to be there, would love to connect. The goal of this meeting is to have one-on-ones with each of you. I mean, that would be wonderful. We would love to dig into your business. It's very nuanced, and CPG right now, every business is a little bit different, but most are facing these same kind of pressing pricing promotion questions. So we'd love to help you answer those. We're also hosting a startup CPG Allie rally on Thursday at Expo. So please find us there. We'd love to see you. And then again, take advantage of those 3 free reports. Hopefully you guys learned something today. We're happy to help with further conversations, but definitely want to open up to any questions that came through.
Awesome. Yeah, we've got a few more minutes here now. If anyone has any questions about pricing, promotions, or even just other generic questions about the 𝐕𝐲𝐢 platform, how to get access to it, this is a great time to get those questions answered.
And while we kind of wait for people to chime in, as we sort of started off by saying, both Lindsay and I are part of our advanced analytics team. So we have a lot of ways we can go about addressing your specific questions. So if you don't feel like unmuting now, please reach out to us. 𝐕𝐲𝐢 might be a great option for you, but if there's different questions that you have, we're here to help really small and emerging brands compete and win at shelf. We know, the big guys have endless teams and data budgets and all the resources, but at the end of the day, you're all competing for the same shelf space and you're trying to tell your story to your retail partners. And that's really what we're passionate about and specialize in. So here to help with anything else that you might be kind of questioning.
Yeah. Awesome. And if there's not any questions, the one thing that I'll close with is just kind of backing up with what Jackie said. I've been a longtime user of the platform and can speak personally as to how effective it is for early stage brands. And if you are planning to attend Expo, I'd highly recommend setting time up with the 𝐕𝐲𝐢 team through that link that I just dropped in the chat for one-on-ones. Even if you're not attending Expo, I would really recommend taking advantage of that. The team is generously offering to meet with folks and just kind of get any generic questions about their brand, their data, their category answered. So it's a great way to arm yourself with data heading into any of the conversations you might have at Expo or any other retailer conversations you have coming up. And then as I've been chatting, we've got a couple questions coming in. So first, this is a great question. What channels and retailers are covered in the data set?
Yes, awesome question. So we have the total FMCG channel and available in 𝐕𝐲𝐢𝐧. And the really amazing thing about 𝐕𝐲𝐢𝐧 is that we do not nickel and dime you for individual retailers. So we can kind of review the full retailer list with you, but Publix, Whole Foods, Target, Walmart, all the big guys are in there and available to you. And the beauty too of kind of getting into 𝐕𝐲𝐢𝐧 and getting yourself up is you can look at it for each of those individual retailers, look at the data at a channel level, and even look at the data at a retailer by region level. So there is a lot of granularity available to you in terms of individual regions, retailers, and channels.
Awesome. And then a fun one, who qualifies for the 3 free reports?
Anyone can have access to the 3 free reports. So go at it, go get it. Yeah, they're there
Sign up
to be
through that link that's in the chat. That'll make sure that your account is tagged with that already.
You'll just need a unique domain name for your email to be able to get in and get that account set up.
Thanks, Amy.
Yeah, gmail.com won't work.
But
Awesome.
yes, use them. We would love for you to use them.
And just, as a brand, my recommendation would be to sign up for those reports, but sign up for the one-on-one with the team so that you can kind of get a sense for how the platform works and make sure that you are comfortable with it before using those credits too. That's my recommendation. But yeah, if you are a CPG brand, please take advantage of that. And for those who are on the call that may have things like sales consultancy organizations or those sort of things, if you are working with CPG brands, my recommendation would be to get them plugged in directly with the team. Or if you have an email with those brands, I know oftentimes consultants operate within those organizations as well. If you have an email with each of those brands, use that email to get access on behalf of those brands to make sure that you are representing a brand on the platform. Awesome. Well, it doesn't look like we have any additional questions at this point. Speaking from personal experience, this entire team is extremely accessible. So I would encourage everyone to connect with this team if they have questions following this call. We will also have this recording, as I mentioned, posted within probably about a day on our Vimeo page. If you signed up for the webinar, you will get an email with that recording, and you can always find it after the fact on the Vimeo page. With that being said, thank you guys very much. It was a great session, and we cannot wait to see everyone at Expo.
Awesome. Can't wait.
And safe travels, everybody. Enjoy.
Thank you all.